Joe Biden made it official Thursday, announcing his campaign for President of the United States.
The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
The former vice president is the 21st Democrat to announce a presidential bid, joining a crowded field that has been noted for its diversity. This is Biden's third time running for president. He is currently the statistical favorite to win the Democratic nomination. Biden is also topping the Democratic field in early polls of Democrats in the key state of Iowa, as well as several national polls. From the very start of his campaign, Biden made it clear he intends to take on President Trump, who previously said running against the former VP would be a dream. CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe has the latest details.
Hours after announcing his campaign, Joe Biden was spotted on his beloved Amtrak train from Washington to Delaware, and then picking up pizza in his hometown of Wilmington.
America's coming back like we used to be, ethical, straight, telling the truth.
The former vice president launched his campaign in English and Spanish with a direct shot at President Trump, recalling his response to the 2017 white supremacist violence in Charlottesville, Virginia.
He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime.
The president welcomed Biden to the fray with a tweet, calling him Sleepy Joe. Last year, Mr. Trump told Jeff Glor he dreams about running against Biden.
Look, Joe Biden ran 3 times. He never got more than 1%. And President Obama took him out of the garbage heap.
Even before his announcement, Biden courted controversy. In the past month, 8 women have come forward to say interactions with Biden made them feel uncomfortable. He responded.
And I get it. I get it.
But later made light of their complaints.
By the way, he gave me permission to touch him.
Biden's campaign also confirmed to CBS News that he spoke recently with Anita Hill, who has said Biden never apologized to her for his handling of her accusations of sexual harassment against now Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Hill told the New York Times today that I cannot be satisfied by simply saying I'm sorry for what happened to you. The campaign is also expected to play up Biden's 8-year partnership and enduring friendship with former President Barack Obama. Today, Mr. Obama said that picking Biden as his 2008 running mate was one of the best decisions he ever made. But he isn't going to endorse a Democratic candidate.
I asked President Obama not to endorse. Whoever wins this nomination should win it on their own merits.
And Ed O'Keefe is with me now. Ed, watching Biden's video out today, he's taking President Trump on directly while other candidates are focusing on policies. What might his team's strategy be?
Well, if you've looked at the same polls that have put Biden at the top of the race for almost a year now, what we found, especially since the midterm elections, is that Democrats are most concerned about defeating the president. Biden seems to be addressing that from literally the first seconds of his campaign. That video went right into Charlottesville right away. Didn't have to introduce himself, didn't have to tell people who he's about, because he's been in politics for 40 years. He spent 8 years as vice president. He's got universal name recognition. There's no explaining that needs to be done. So he could spend his time reminding people or explaining to people, I'm in this race because I saw what happened in 2017 when the president did this. It infuriated me, and it's driving my decision to get into this race.
Effective, do you think?
We'll see. I think it was pretty galling, frankly, and it was a pretty shocking reminder to a lot of people of what has been said and what happened. And, we'll see in the coming days whether he's able to sustain what is essentially about a quarter to a third of primary voters' support. But at this point, everyone else in this race, the other 20, depending on how you count it, know that at this point, if they got to get attention, they've got to overcome him. And so that might mean going after him directly. Elizabeth Warren today, in a subtle way, pointed out that she won't be spending time at big dollar fundraisers because she's decided to not hold those kinds of events and not rely on that kind of financial support? Well, Biden has to and intends to and plans to embrace it. And his first scheduled stop is at a fundraiser in Philadelphia tonight, where he's probably going to raise a few $1 million. And he will rely on big money donors who have funneled money to campaigns through the years, but who this year aren't necessarily held in the same regard, because other candidates are putting a premium on $5 donations, $20 donations from people all across the country.
Pennsylvania, we were talking about this morning.
Right.
A key state, as we know. He'll be in Philadelphia. He'll be in Pittsburgh on Monday.
Yeah.
What might we expect from him in Pennsylvania?
Well, it's a math issue. If Democrats can win the 20 electoral votes from the Keystone State, that might be the ball game if they can hold everything else they had in 2016. The president's team knows that and has been deploying Republican operatives up there to make sure that things are in good order. Because if you lose Pennsylvania, you might also end up having trouble in Wisconsin and Michigan, the two places that he won, maybe out in Iowa. And, you know, if Biden is able to make an appeal to those kinds of people, we'll see. And that is part of why he's decided to base himself in Philadelphia, his campaign, part of why he's starting there. But he also has close ties to the state. When you're the senator from Delaware, you rely on the Philadelphia media market. You know this. You're the
neighbors.
Pennsylvania neighbor. Yeah, exactly. and he has long ties to the state and its politics. So it's a natural place of comfort for him to start. But he's got to go to Iowa, he's got to go to New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, California, because it plays a big early role. And if he struggles there, he may never get to the conversation about a general election.
What are we hearing today from other Democratic hopefuls about Biden's entry into this race officially?
It's funny because a lot of what they've said is through their fundraising appeals. Welcome to the race, glad to see you, can't wait to debate you. Now give me money, because we're going to need money to run against him. Of course, he starts with virtually nothing in the bank. A lot of these folks have banked away millions of dollars already. But they now know that with him in the race, there's a chance that he sucks up all the energy, all the enthusiasm, takes the money, and makes it very difficult for the others. So we'll see. We won't see candidates together on stage until late June. Between now and then, as though it's believed, we will start to see them go after each other a little more. And that's why there's been such an effort made by all sorts of different interest groups and members of the party to say, no matter what happens now over the course of this race, we all got to get behind whoever it is that is ultimately the nominee.
Biden has said he plans to spend some time talking about his work, about his relationship with Obama. Mm-hmm. Do you think that will hurt him, or will that help him?
It's designed to help him, and it's part of the reason why Biden enjoys such broad support, especially, at least again, according to surveys, with black voters, because they understand that he was at the president's side all throughout those 8 years, stood by him as a character witness, as a voice that sort of pushed the administration's proposals and helped him out in big ways, especially in Washington and overseas with his foreign policy experience. So he made the point a few weeks ago that he is a proud Obama-Biden Democrat. I think we're going to hear a lot of that, at least in conversations with Democratic primary voters. He's going to try to remind them, look, you liked what was going on for the most part over those 8 years. Let's keep that up. Let's do it again.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Ed O'Keefe, who will not be sleeping for the next year and a half.
Nope, not at all.
We'll see you again soon. Thank you.